Rahman, good afternoon, and how are you doing?
Hi, thank you, Nathan. Not too bad. Can you hear me clearly?
Hello, Rahman.
Yeah, Nathan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
All right, all right. Thank you so much
Right.
for joining us. Let's have a look at the fixtures for match week 8 of the Premier League, and then we'll get into all we have to do. So there are 2 match days, or game days if you like, Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, Luton, they start us off. They will be taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Fulham welcome Sheffield. Burnley host Chelsea. Very interesting game. Manchester United, under pressure Man United, under fire Man United. They take on Brentford at Old Trafford. Everton welcome Bournemouth. And Crystal Palace welcome Nottingham Forest. On Sunday, Brighton and Liverpool. That's an exciting one. West Ham and Newcastle is also exciting. Wolves and Villa should be fun. And the biggest game of the round is Arsenal welcoming Manchester City. We'll get into that a little later. But let us start off with Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are in action this weekend. They go to Burnley. Let me speak to Rahman. Rahman, thank you for joining us. How has life been at Stamford Bridge since the last time they played? They got themselves a League Cup when they beat Brighton. And things are gradually beginning to take shape, if you like, at Chelsea. What has Mauricio Pochettino been saying ahead of this very interesting game at Burnley over the weekend?
He's been saying some really interesting things. On the game itself, he said it was going to be a tough game, only because Burnley are quite a really good run inside and they press a lot, and they're under Vincent Kompany, whose coaching career is in the model of what Pep Guardiola is more like. But Burnley won their first game against Luton, and so they've got their tails up. Chelsea also won their second game of the season against Fulham, so they've also got their tails up. So quite really 2 sides who are quite confident going into the game. And Vincent Kompany has been speaking, and then Pochettino has been speaking. Vincent Kompany spoke first. He said Chelsea will play at some point. The only issue was like they don't want them to play at turf mode this weekend, which is quite really interesting. And Pochettino also has been speaking about the mood in his camp and the need to actually believe in the project. And the win against Fulham was quite significant. And for me, I think Chelsea's season will begin not at turf mode, but after the international break. But they need to win that game. Chelsea haven't won back-to-back league games this year. And the win against Fulham was the first time they had beaten a team ahead or top of them in the Premier League table in the last year and a half. That tells you how hard things have gone. So, like you rightfully said, it's beginning to pick up, but they need to keep the momentum. They need to keep their eye on the road.
You spoke about the momentum. We saw them play against Fulham, and it was one of their best performances in the calendar year, and they've not won a lot of games in 2023. Mudryk finally got on the score sheet. I'm sure people are delighted with that. Looking ahead to this particular encounter, does Pochettino, what do you think he expects from his players? I know there's a lot of talk around Chelsea and what should happen, but what does Pochettino want? Does he want another win, or he wants a performance, or he wants the 2 when they play Burnley this weekend?
I think that at a place like Chelsea, you need to win. The win gives you the space to be able to put your ideas into motion. And so the first thing is always to win. And if you look at the fan base and what the communications has been so far, after the win against Fulham, was that things are beginning to look bright. Before the Fulham win, they had only 1 win, and that was against Leeds. And so the messages are simple: to continue to pick up points as much as possible. What will be success to him eventually will be how many wins he's able to get there. And so it's that squad there. It's a £1 billion squad. So Badia Shelley was asked if Chelsea was in transition. He said, if you're a footballer and you struggle and you get to a place like Chelsea, there are no transitions. It's a massive club, easily one of the best in the world. Every game you should be winning. So to answer that question, it's as simple: 3 points with a dominant performance that takes you into the international break. Let me give you an anecdote. Chelsea paid over £100 million for Moises Caicedo. That's more than the entire squad of Burnley.
Yeah.
So it's quite really important you put that into perspective. And Caicedo himself is beginning to pick up. His performance against Fulham was quite really good. But again, in the press up, Pochettino did lament the fact that after Burnley, he has to travel again to South America. It's quite wide the distance to travel and play games. And then by the time he comes back after 10 days, they have to reset again. But they've got to accept the situation. That's the life of a professional player.
Great. Finally, Raman, we talk about the fact that Chelsea wants a dominant performance and all of that. If Burnley will hurt Chelsea, how can they hurt Chelsea? Where are the weak spots for Chelsea that Burnley could potentially take advantage of?
Really good question. Chelsea's biggest problem this season has been scoring goals. Defensively, they've been quite good. I don't think a lot of teams have conceded less than them, so they're quite good. Burnley themselves have only just got their first win since they got promoted. What they do need to do against Chelsea, though, if they want to get something out of the game, is frustrate them. Is to stay alive in the game as much as possible, because Chelsea don't score a lot of goals. So the longer they stay in the game, the more the fans, especially at Turf Moor, which is easily one of the difficult places to play football, if the team get the performance right. So keep frustrating them, make sure they don't score early. The problem Fulham had was that they let Chelsea get the first goal and immediately the second goal, game over for them. So to frustrate Chelsea, don't let them score, keep the game 0-0. In the second half, it opens up, they open up in search of the ball, and then you can hit them. A lot of the time, Fulham have been punished in this league because they want to play expansive football, yet they don't have the materials to play expansive football.
All right, Raman, thank you so much. One final question. Yes. Are you going to see Arsenal Man City?
No, Chris Ridley is doing that. I am going to see what I think is a much more exciting game. West Ham, Newcastle. Did you see Newcastle play PSG?
I saw it. They were amazing. They were amazing.
I want to see if they still have energy, given how energetic they were against PSG. And then obviously see Mohamed Kudus play.
Okay. All right, Raman. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Raman Osman. He's a football journalist. He writes for LondonWorld.com. Guys, let me welcome you once again. You've been quiet, Yao and Emmanuel. So we've spoken a lot about, Raman highlighted Chelsea, the form they are in. They seem to be happy and all of that. On the flip side, Burnley, they also won their first league game of the season, and they had to beat Luton. I'm sure that's the only team they can beat. But on a lighter note, Emmanuel, let me start off with you. What can they do against Chelsea? Chelsea are feeling confident now than they were a few weeks ago. They are coming to Turf Moor. Man United have won at Turf Moor already. What can Burnley do to get a home win against Chelsea?
Well, I do think they would need to be more efficient in the final third, and they would have to be a bit more pragmatic. Yes, Vincent Kompany was touted as the Pep Guardiola of the Championship, and you come into the Premier League and it's a different level. You want to play the same expansive football, pass the ball, move it around, but they haven't been successful. They've played 4 home games, they've lost all of them. Should they lose against Chelsea, that would be a very bad record, losing 5 consecutive home games in your first 5 Premier League games. So for them, I do think they'll need to be more pragmatic, they'll need to be more efficient in the final third. I think their striker, who had the red card 2 games ago, is back. He scored against Luton. So for me, that's the main thing. Defensively too, they will need to be a bit more solid. In as much as Chelsea have not scored a lot of goals, it's just finishing that has been bad. They do create chances, they do get in behind. Over the past 2 games, there seems to be some sort of a balance and understanding between Enzo, Caicedo, and Gallagher. So they'll look to foster that relationship and build upon it. So for me, it's going to be very difficult. But if Burnley are able to close shop, not concede within, let's say, the first 30 to 40 minutes, and then are able to take advantage of their chances, yes, maybe individual brilliance or take advantage of set pieces, I do think this Chelsea team isn't the strongest we've seen in a long time, and they should be able to get something, especially seeing that they are playing at home. Okay,
all right, we'll see if Burnley can finally crack the home riddle and win their first league game at home. They've already won 1 game this season, but they haven't won at home yet in the league.